What's going on, everybody? It's your host of the Morning Beer Podcast, Devrell Davis. And I just want to, before I even get started on what our topic is going to be today, I'm doing a quick video as I like to do most of the time. Sometimes it's longer, but today it's going to be a quick one. But I want to thank my subscribers. I know I don't have a big channel. I don't have a big platform yet, knock on wood. But I do have 100 subscribers. And I just reached my 100 subscriber, and I want to thank Williams B, or B Williams. He actually left a comment in my last video, which was yesterday, and he was the 100 subscriber, and I want to thank him. Everybody else that tunes in, subscribe, or if you're a subscriber or not, or you just casually pass through, look at my videos, whatever. If you like or whatever, please, pass on the message. I talk about sports. I talk about other things. I want to branch off into probably scary stories if you're into that type of genre and stuff like that. But pretty much I'm a Mets fan since July 22nd, 1980, the day I was born. Always was and always will be. So I like to speak about the Mets. I'm also a certified personal trainer over 10 years. So I'm also going to talk about fitness and pretty much, whatever is floating my boat for that day. So I just want to thank everybody that listens in. I want to thank my 100 subscribers. Hopefully I have 100 more or 1,000 more, 1,000,000 more, whatever. Whatever you can, please pass the message on. I'm very thankful and grateful for everything I get, and I totally appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment below. If you want to contact me, I'll definitely leave my email information. We could talk, maybe collaborate with other Mets enthusiasts or whatever. Come speak on my platform, whatever. All right, but moving on. So we're going to speak about some Mets today again. 24 hours to digest what took place with Trevor Bauer. And in a way, I feel like we dodged a bullet with Trevor Bauer. I feel like, in hindsight, it seems easy to talk about somebody that rejected us. So it's almost like when you're with dating a hot chick and she rejects you or whatever, and you're like now trying to find all the bad about them to talk about them to your friends. I get it. That's human nature. But it's not necessarily that's the case. We were always buyer beware when it came down to Trevor Bauer because of his antics before. It's almost dealing like a crazy girl. You know she's crazy, but she's hot as hell, and you want to kind of like get her in bed or whatever. That's kind of the case with Trevor Bauer. He kind of wanted to like get this guy. He could be a head case. He could throw a ball over the center field fence, which was a phenomenal throw in my opinion. That was more phenomenal than the whole situation itself. He could get into it with his managers, with his teammates. He could get into social media. You knew he was dealing with a head case, and you knew it came with some issues, right? How much do you want to deal with that issues? The positive about it is that you wanted to make a statement as a New York Mets owner. You wanted to be like, hey, listen, we're the new players in town. We're going to play to win. We're going to accumulate the players we need to win. We're going to spend money. We're going to act like a big market team like we haven't, to compete with the Yankees, compete with the Dodgers, compete even with the Phillies and Braves and stuff like that, teams that do spend money. We're no longer the Wilpons, but now the Cohens that owns the Mets. So he wanted to go in there and show his worth. So I get it. But we don't necessarily have to go over the big shiny toy. So it moves into my point that I think we dodged a bullet with this guy. One thing I think that would have hindered the team being a team, because I'm not a fan of players. I'm a fan of a winning team. I don't know if that sounded correctly. I do value and I do want to get the best players possible to win. But I'm more I'm a Giants fan, New York Giants fan, football fan. We didn't have all the two times we won the Super Bowl, and I've been alive for all 4 of our Super Bowl wins. But the last 2 times we won, we didn't have a LT, we didn't have a Phil Simms, we didn't have an all-star cast. We had a team of players, role players that fit in and niched in and played their part correctly to help this team win. We didn't have the over-the-top, as a Mets fan, one day I would love to have a team like that. 86 team was full of stars, but right now I'm fine with a winning team, a team that knows how to win, kind of like what Tampa Bay was last year, not necessarily superstars, but everybody could play. Everybody, we have no weak links because everybody could play and eventually win a championship with that team. I would love to see a team like that. But in this day and age, everything's a little bit quicker. It's harder to build from scratch. Sometimes you just have to purchase that win. So I get what he was trying to do with Bauer, but I want a sustainable winner. So you're gonna need those young players. You're gonna need those role players to mesh in and everything like that. So what I felt would have been hindered if we got Bauer, if we spent $40 million, we went over the luxury tax. We probably would have had a problem. Number one, re-signing Lindor and Conforto and Syndergaard. If Stroman has a great season, even Stroman, we have a lot of players coming up that needs to be re-signed real quickly in the next year or two. And signing the Bauer could have probably hindered that. He had some player options, and he probably would have had to try to re-sign him again too, because he could have opted out. So I didn't know if I want to handcuff myself with that. So the great thing is that whatever we do now, I don't think we're gonna go over the tax threshold. I think we're gonna be under that for the foreseeable future. Definitely this season, I think we could tinker a little bit with the team. Definitely, our needs are center field. I preach about this all the time. Center field, more starting pitching depth, relief pitcher, and if worse comes to worse, third base. All right. Now I'm gonna go into some players that we should probably pick up. I did in my last video, but I want to think and spitball some more players and tell me what you think. You can always leave me a message in my email or down in the comments. Now, going back to the Bauer thing, we have a young manager in Luis Rojas, who's only a few years older than Bauer, only about 10 years older or whatever, maybe even less than that. And I didn't want the pressure of him having to deal with that type of player. You understand? So that's another reason why even Terry Francona, who coached Jordan in the minor leagues and coached all types of players, the Boston Red Sox, took them 2 titles or whatever. Even Terry Francona had enough of this guy. And Terry Francona is probably one of the best coaches of my generation, of the last generation or whatever. But that's another reason why we probably dodged a bullet with this guy. We have other options that we need. We have other needs that we need on this team. Of course, a solid number 2 starter would have been great, but we do have depth in Stroman, Carrasco, hopefully Syndergaard real soon. The three of them could be potential number 2s on a good team. But we have other needs. We have center field that we still need to cover. I feel we wouldn't have got these players if we got Bauer. We probably have to settle for the guy from Chicago Cubs, Alomar or whatever. Settle for lesser players, in my opinion. And if worse comes to worse, that's what we had to do. But at the end of the day, now we can make our team a lot better. So let's see center field. Let's talk about center fielders alone. What do you think about Kevin Kiermaier, right? He's a winning player. That's one. He played on Tampa Bay. He knows how to win, all right? That's a positive. Reckless defensively, but great defensively. Reckless meaning he might run into a wall and hurt himself, or he might run into another player. All right, I can live with that as long as he catches the ball. But I don't need you to injure other players. Maybe you could tune it back a little bit, but play great defense still. Kevin Kiermaier in center field, he covered a lot of ground between Nemo and Conforto, or Dominic Smith and Conforto. And I would like Kiermaier. Only thing is he's another lefty, and his bat has been going down, declining. I think he's batted in the low 200s the last few years. So, and his contract is about over $10 million. So for Tampa Bay, they're looking to dump salary, as they do every year. They got rid of Snell. They're looking to get rid of Kiermaier probably. It'll be more of a salary dump, so you won't be able to trade Familia for him. So it's more of a prospect for Kiermaier, maybe a low-end prospect because they're trying to dump salary. I would do that, but it depends what I do with other parts of the team. Now, if I want to do Kiermaier and his less than stellar bat, I would need to improve third base defensively and with a better bat. So our options would be Chris Bryant, Suarez, and Jose Ramirez. But do we have enough to get Jose Ramirez? Or are they selling him on the cheap? He won't be cheap because he's 3 years left. I think two of them are play options, and he's only between 10 and 13 million per year. That's dirt cheap for an MVP caliber player. Been also over the last 2-3 seasons. Put up MVP numbers. He was in the MVP running last year. I think he came in number 2 and number 3. 2 years prior to that, he was also in the MVP running. I think he was in the top 3 also. So this is an MVP caliber player that plays good defense too and could run. How much do we have to give up for him? What's the names you have to throw out there? Would you give up Francisco Alvarez, which I feel he's the catcher after McCann's? Will you give up a PCA, Peter Crow Armstrong, who I think is the center fielder after whoever we get next in center field? Will you give up Matt Allen, who I feel is a steal of the draft 2 years ago from Brody Van Wagenen? And I don't know if I want to do that yet. But if it comes down to getting Jose Ramirez, that type of bat, will you be willing to give up a Dominic Smith for him? I think I might have to do that. I think I might have to go ahead and give you a Dominic Smith for Jose Ramirez, put him at third base. If you want to do it straight up, I'm fine with that. Take on the rest of his money. We're good to go. But we have options there. I'd rather not get into the Bryant thing because, once again, that's another free agent that we have to sign next year. And I'm not looking to sign Bryant. I think he's on the decline. He just doesn't look like the type of player that he used to be. So let him go to wherever else. Chances are he's probably going to Atlanta or Washington, which I do not want to see. Because already Atlanta just re-signed Ozuna. So we had a terrible day 2 days ago with Bauer going to Dodger and Ozuna re-signing with Atlanta. So let's still improve this team, but I'm not trying to do the whole Chris Bryant and having to pay for him again next year. Arenado's gone off the market. Suarez. He's a mixture of the two. Bat's not that great as far as average, and I spoke about Suarez in my last video. Bat's not that great. He bats around the 250s, 260 range, but he could pop. I don't know if it's just a product of being in that bandbox in Cincinnati, or could his bat translate anywhere. I'm more leaning towards his bat could translate anywhere. He's going to be a potential 30 home run hitter. He might be a number 6 hitter. We just need to get more right-handed bats in that lineup because we've been so left-handed heavy for the last 2 years. So Suarez's defense, he's not a Gold Glover, but he's better than J.D. Davis, who he might be traded for. So that's another option there. Let's go back to center field. So, of course, we have Jackie Bradley or whatever, but another guy that I spoke about last video, and I sound like a broken record, I would love Lorenzo Cain to be here and patrolling center field right now. I wanted him to re-sign him. Actually, I wanted him to sign him the year he became a free agent. He signed with Milwaukee. I wanted him to play center field, but went on to sign with Milwaukee. This would be another salary dump. I propose Familia for Kane, or even if you want to do Betances for Kane. Milwaukee's looking like they're trying to give away players right now. They're trying to give away Josh Hader. They're trying to save some money or whatever. Will you trade a Kane for either one of our relievers? They're going to need a reliever so they could save some money. Betances or Familia will help them save money because Kane is making $17 million, and I think Betances is 10, so they'll save 7 with it, and Familia is about 13 or whatever, so they'll save about 4. But we can also give them money too, and pretty much be paying Kane roughly around 10 million ourselves. I'll gladly do that for the next 2 years. I think he has 2 years left in the contract. I think by the end of the contract he'll be 36, 37. Give me Kane for 2 years, then give the center field to PCA. I'll be fine with that. And, that'll be a good answer right there in center field. He's a winning player, knows how to play. He still has speed, still could play defense. Might be a step slower, but still could play defense than the other options that we have besides Jackie Bradley. Another one I'm going to throw out there, free agent-wise, is Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar is a good player defensively. Almost same thing like Kane, but I think Kane is more of a clutch player. Pillar, a little bit older than Jackie Bradley as far as a free agent, but he's right-handed. And he's been a winning player, played in Boston, played in other teams, other franchises, bounced all over the league, San Francisco. I wouldn't mind Pillar, too bad, but it depends on what we do with third base. If we stand pat at third base and stick with JD Davis, I'll be okay with it because I love his bat. I love his bat. I love the friendship he has with other players on the team. He's a team player. A lot of people love him in the clubhouse. But his defense scares me a lot. So you never know. We might have to move on from him, and he might be our number one trade chip, if not Dominic Smith, if there's no DH in the National League. Moving on to pitchers, I'm going to end this real after pitchers. Starting pitcher, I mentioned Sonny Gray in the last video as far as trade. Luis Castillo. I have trouble saying certain names. Please forgive me. If we could somehow pry him, and if we have to give up prospects to pry him away from Cincinnati, let's talk. Let's definitely talk. Let's definitely go ahead. He's a bona fide ace. He's a bona fide number 2. I think this would make up a lot for not obtaining Bauer, and I'll be fine with that. He's a lot younger, a little bit younger than what's out there, and if we get Luis Castillo, let's go for that. That's definitely gonna put us in the running for the National League East. Who else? We got some pitchers, Odorizzi's out there, free agent wise. I'm not a fan of Rich Hill and stuff like that. These older players, but I mean, for depth purposes, that's fine. But Castillo, let's go all the way. Let's go get him. I said we should have went after Blake Snell, but it is what it is. We didn't get him either. But Castillo is what I want to go for. As far as relief pitchers, we didn't get Brad Hand, but there's other little ones out there we could plug in there. If we get rid of Familia and Betances and plug in some other players, sign some lower level players that's more effective, please, by all means, let's do that. Who else I have to talk about? Oh, that's about it. Oh, I just want to mention, a lot of people are talking about predictions already, right? They're talking about the Dodgers, of course. Excuse me. Be mindful that I make these videos overnight, so I'm always tired. I'm always kind of sleepy. I make them at work sometimes or whatever, on break or whatever. So that's why I'm always yawning, all right? So I'm just a little tired. But anyway, they made the predictions already. LA, they already want to give LA the title or whatever. They want to give San Diego the title also or whatever. They talking about St. Louis now being a great team, which they are with Arenado now. They put us up there top 5 or whatever, along with Atlanta. Atlanta is stacked, in my opinion. I'm very nervous about them. But one team that I noticed everybody's not talking about, they even talk about Philly before they talk about this team. Washington Nationals. They just won the championship. They won the real championship. To me, they're the last. Dodgers, I'm not hating on you guys because I know you didn't hear me say this before, but I've been thinking about this. They won a tournament last year. They won a 60-game tournament last year. And they won the title in 60 games. I'm not trying to take it away from them, but I mean, I need to see 162 to determine who the winner is. They are the World Series champs now. They got their title. They're going to put the banner up in the beginning of this year, but they won a 60-game tournament, in my opinion, last year, and the last team to win the championship, 162 games, was the Washington Nationals. Now, they was injured in that 60-game tournament we had last year of a season, with COVID restriction, no traveling to other divisions, no traveling to cross country and stuff like that. So the last team that actually went through this a whole season, traveling, moving around, playing in front of people and stuff like that, was the Washington Nationals. They were hurt last year, right? And I'm a New York Mets fan. I'm not trying to promote the Washington Nationals, but they still got Scherzer, Strasburg. Dave Martinez is still their manager. They revamped with Josh Bell and some other players, players that you can plug in there and has winning caliber and have talent. Let's not sleep on them so much. They have the pedigree to be dangerous. I know they lost Rendon and stuff like that, but they're kind of scary. They're kind of scary in my opinion. I think it's us in Atlanta, hopefully, for the division. But Washington's right there, knocking on our heels, so we gotta pay attention to that. So we definitely have to get stronger because I'm nervous about Washington too. So anyway, I'm your host of the Morning Beer Podcast, Trevor Davis. Please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. I want to thank you all for listening. Pass this on to whoever you know that's a Mets fan, whoever you know that's into fitness, whoever you know that's into anything going on in the world right now. Just, definitely look at my channel. Stay tuned for more things coming out as far as my channel. Like I said, I'm going to be doing scary stories. As far as my podcast, I have a fitness podcast, which is also called the Morning Beer Podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Anchor, and Stitcher, and all the other podcast platforms out there. Just definitely pay attention. Look out for me and like and subscribe. All right, information will be down at the bottom. Peace.